Okay, great. Welcome, welcome everyone. Here we are live. Today is Saturday, December 5th, and every Saturday we get together here at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And this Unlimited Network Mastermind is dedicated to support conscious entrepreneurs, the ones that really want to master the laws of creation, manifestation, come out from the box of effort and struggle and having to push and make it, and to simply wake up spiritually. And we say that was conscious in some way. So to allow the success, to really learn how to let go all the layers that we have that are in between, our experience today and what we know inside our core, that is possible. And I wanted to, so the intention really is to support, everyone. And I want you to know that this is an offering. This is free. This is for you to invite yourself to begin with. So, I know there is many things that you can do Saturday, 10 a.m. So the fact that you are here shows that you have interest for your own, connection with yourself and abundance and prosperity. So that's wonderful, because the more we promote that or wake up that in us, the more we are helping our entire world, to have a better life. And this is something that I want to say today. Thank you to all of you. I know there is good friends of mine on the other side looking just this on under unlimitednetwork.com/mastermind. And remember, if you want to be on the panel, you need to write Arne, A-R-N-E, at unlimitednetwork.com. And he will send you the special link that you need to be here with us, that we normally are a lot more people, but this Saturday we are just the three of us here for now, because I know someone is coming new too. But he told me that he will be a little late. But that's the intention really, and I want to say thank you for that, because perseverance and to be every Saturday, to be here focusing on waking up this aspect of ourselves, and to be surrounded by people that believe that all is possible, and it's a luxury. I think it's an incredible, wealthy environment here, like we support each other to go for it, and we are learning and mastering the laws of the universe, so we flow with it instead of having to struggle and work hard again, like I said before. So I just want to acknowledge all of us for standing up and really looking for what we want here. And to know that it's very supportive. You don't find this kind of people everywhere all the time, so to honor this time that we can all here be together, the ones that we have this kind of mind, open-minded, So, and one thing that I want to say is that Arne is not with us this weekend. He's teaching an Unlimited Breath workshop in Iowa, and he sends all his love, and he expects that everything's going to be good without him, so we have to let him know that yes. And but he sent his love to all of us here. And one thing that I wanted to go, Doc Fran, before we go to the book, last week I had a really good friend that is with us today too, on the other side, on the side of just seeing the live event under unlimitednetwork.com/mastermind, that she had a very powerful reaction with our mastermind, and I wanted to offer a little bit to approach that. And the story goes this way, like the habit that we have in our culture, in our civilization, to remember that we are talking about health, well-being, and how we can create our health, with our minds, and to be aware and to be in alignment. So what happened, if you are already trapped into a sickness, or you're already taking, like a lot of medication, and it's like, this sounds very wonderful, but I don't know how to do it. And I just want to say to all of us, me included, like sometimes I have a headache, and I handle it to the degree that I don't fight myself, but if it's overwhelming, I'm going to take something to help me. But what I wanted to say is that I don't think Abraham Hicks, or what we are studying here, is asking us to drop everything, and just, be here spiritual. Find the balance. Honor your journey. We do what we can, and you're going to take the pills, or me, I'm going to take the pills, or whatever, until I don't need anymore. But if we, at the same time that we take medication, that remember, medication is covering up symptoms, because our physical I mean, I am a medical doctor, and I have to say, you know, it's like that's one of the reasons that I jumped to be a spiritual doctor that I call myself today, because I love to go to the core, to the cause, to the metaphysical reason of what something is flourishing in this body, is a call, is telling me something, right? So in this case, I will say that be very gentle, continue with your medication, but look for the metaphysical topic. And at the same time that you are, you know, you have more access to feel good because you don't have the pain, for example, or because you can breathe, or you can, you know, I don't know, if you need insulin because you are diabetic or whatever, it's not like you have to cut that off, but look for what that means to experience diabetes in your body, you know, and start to point into the metaphysical causes so you can change your conditioning, and then your body can express your new way of thinking, and at one point we can even maybe regenerate the pancreas or the lungs or the muscles or whatever it is. So it's not a matter of running, you know, like I have to get there. To me, I think it's a matter of enjoying the path and be, you know, conscious, more and more conscious and gentle, very compassionate with us. So this is something that I wanted to share, that we can do it very gently and we don't have to beat up ourselves. But it's true that when you are looking for light or you are looking for more in life, you probably are, you know, all the material that is limiting or less than or fears or whatever are going to come up, because that's what is between, you know, what I'm looking for and where I am today. So who is going to bring light to that? Well, our own awareness, our own realization. Oh, I noticed that. Oh, I'm afraid. Oh, so all is good, okay? Even if we have these dark nights or dark moments, it's good. It's a liberation. And then we have more space for the new. And I wanted to start with this because I do love, you know, for us to follow this path very gently and to wake up fully. So, Doc Frank, after that, I would like you to come in. I know there is one person from Russia that is coming to join us, but he told me that he will be late. So, and if he doesn't come today, he will come next Saturday. But we are, he's appreciating all the work that we do here. So, welcome everyone again. Doc Frank, I'm ready. And we continue with our reading, or if you have some comment about what I said. I just wanted to say that. Welcome, Dr. Fran.
Well, good morning, and good morning to everyone. Wow, it's really dark in my background. It's very dark here today because it's just raining and pouring and overcast. So at any rate, I'm delighted that, you know, that we are here today, and you know, we'll see if our other panelist joins. But welcome to all of our guests, and it's fun to it is fun to get feedback about what we're doing. Last week's talk, I thought, was particularly powerful. We all felt it, the panel felt it, and obviously the people that were on the line listening to us, our guests, were also moved by the comment and by the teaching. So that's the purpose of what we're doing, Monica, and you know, so it's nice to get feedback that our purpose is being fulfilled. Well, we're going to continue on. We are in this book, Money and the Law of Attraction, written by Esther Hicks and Jerry Hicks, on the teachings of Abraham. And Abraham is a non-physical source being that is elaborating and illuminating the spiritual realities that guide all of our existences, and it's very fascinating study. And you know, Nancy and I have been following this line of reasoning now for, God, probably 40 years, 30 years of our lives, and Abraham for the last 8 or 10 of those years. So a lot of value in this when you understand and perceive the essential truth in their very clear teachings to us. So we're on the chapter called Perspectives of Health, Weight, and Mind. So those of you that are new with this, if you have the book or if you downloaded it from Unlimited Network, we're on page 147, and our topic starts today with, is my attention predominantly focused on well-being? Jerry asks. Another dear friend of ours recently built a room onto her house so that her mother-in-law, whose health had really worsened, could come to live with her. Her mother-in-law spoke almost constantly about how bad she felt, how bad her health was, how unhappy she was with life, and about this surgery and that surgery. Then our friend's mother, who was 85 years old, came out to visit for the holidays. She had never been in a hospital in her life before, but within a week of staying in that house with this other lady, who was continually speaking of illness, her own health plummeted dramatically. She was hospitalized and then placed in a nursing home. Could someone's health fail so dramatically as a result of only a few days of negative influence? Abraham responds, the potential for illness or wellness lies within all of you at all times. And whatever you give your attention to begins to foster within you the manifestations of the essence of that thought. Thought is very powerful. While it is not necessary, most people who have lived to be 85 years of age have already been receiving substantial negative influence about their physical body. You are constantly bombarded with thoughts of failing health, the need to buy medical insurance, the need to buy burial insurance, the need to get your will in order to prepare for your death, and so on. So this woman did not receive her first negative influence about her physical well-being from the other woman in that house. However, since she was already teetering there, somewhat unstable about her own longevity, the intensity of the other woman's conversation and the responses she noticed that it extracted from the people who surrounded her did tip the balance of her thoughts enough that negative symptoms became immediately apparent. And then, as she turned her attention toward her own negative symptoms in that intense environment, those symptoms increased even more rapidly. When someone comes into your experience who stimulates your thought so that your thought is predominantly upon illness rather than wellness, upon lack of well-being rather than upon well-being, where you are in a place where you're feeling vulnerable or defensive or even angry, then the cells of your body begin to respond in the balance of that thought. And yes, it is possible that in a matter of weeks or even days or even hours, this negative process could begin. Everything that you are living is a result of the thoughts that you are thinking. And there is not an exception to that.
Let me stop here 1 second, Dr. Fran. I don't know, maybe you need to say something too, because it's like, oh.
Yeah, I do, but you go ahead. That's fine.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I just wanted to highlight this because I think that is so powerful to understand deeply. Not to feel guilty or to say, oh my gosh, I'm doing it wrong, But it's interesting. I want to say, well, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to say an example that I have my dad. My dad is such a beautiful person, and he's like 83 right now, 83, I think, 84. And lately he's going to the doctors constantly, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? It's like, but do you feel bad? No, I just, like, I don't know, but they say I need and he's a doctor too. I mean, like us, and in some way it's like it's very difficult to don't follow what I call the river of the collective, like the entire collective consciousness, is going onto this, is I don't know, is expressing the fear of that something is wrong. And as soon as something is wrong with our bodies, like, it's not so easy to don't focus on that, So I just wanted to highlight, like, to really deeply, Monica, for me, to understand that thoughts are are very powerful, like we are saying here, and if I can really master to stay focused on what I want instead of what I have, see, or hear, or so I get passionate about the topic, but I can see examples of, going down from all the corners, everybody's addicted to take, like medicine, pills, like chemical, pharmacological medicine, and I just wanted to say that, like, you go to the doctor and you're going to find something for sure. We read an entire chapter about that, right? So I just wanted to say that, Dr. Frank, if you can go, wonderful.
Well, good. Well, I appreciate it. And the thing that this reinforces that this concept has come up a number of different times, and we've actually talked about it on our mastermind. But in my own physical experience, In 1997, I experienced pain for a period of months in my right arm and started losing mobility in my right arm. And you know, it turned out I was diagnosed with a condition called avascular necrosis, which is a chronic degenerative disease that ultimately results in loss of the joint or replacement of the joint, and ultimately death. They don't know why it happens. And so we've talked about how your thoughts create your manifestations, and we've talked about agreements. And this whole chapter talks about the fact that this woman subconsciously went into agreement with the fact that here she is the same age as this other woman, and even though she had been living in a consciousness of good health, she was able to key in, and her agreements went from constantly, subconsciously vibrating on a path or on a vibration frequency of good health to shifting her vibration to one of, oh my God, I should be sick. And so when your agreement goes to that, that's what you manifest. And so, doctors, they're well-intentioned, they're well-meaning, but they're also well-trained, and they tend to believe only what they've been trained, so they tend to impart the knowledge that they've been given. And it's, now today in this litigious society particularly, but it's always been true, physicians tend to accentuate the negative prognosis of any condition that they find in their patient in order to protect themselves against potential liability for not advising you that, this particular condition can have negative impacts resulting even in death. And so people go into agreement with their diagnosis, and it's a real shame. And the TV's trying to do this to us all the time now, too. I mentioned last week, irritates the living hell out of me that they focus on diseases that affect less than 0.1% of the population of the planet at all. Instead of saying, 97% of people will never experience disease X, they hype on the fact that, oh my God, 3% of the population over a lifetime experiences disease X. You better immunize yourself, your kids, and everybody you love against disease X, even if it occurs 1 in 10 billion people on the planet, for instance, or 10 million people on the planet. So this constant emphasis and the insidious attempt to create agreement in the population about the dangers inherent in whatever disease du jour they want you to focus on creates the disease. So my result was, I was told in 1998 that if I lived 3 years, I would have to have all my joints replaced. And I told my doctor, thanks, but no thanks, because they had no idea why I had AVN. They just knew that I had it. The result is that 18 years later, I'm the only person on the planet that's documented in complete remission after stage 2 AVN in all his joints for 18 years. And that was literally because I went back to my base agreement that I have a very healthy, high-functioning body that is resistant to all kinds of things, and that this AVN was not going to be the source of me becoming a wheelchair-bound invalid, dismantled before they ultimately put what remained of my pieces in a box or through a crematorium. So, it really does matter, folks. What you believe is what you create and what you see as what is in your life. So be meticulous about the agreements you allow yourself to make. And if you go down-tone, follow your guidance system. If you feel yourself going down-tone on a subject because of influences external to yourself, then stop and find the better feeling thought right that minute about that subject. Return to your baseline, particularly as it regards your health, and reflect upon the miracle that is your body, the miracle that is your body functioning in good health all the time, and allow yourself to feel the joy associated with that, and move on to a totally different subject. So, sorry about that, but it's very powerful.
One second, Doc Frank. I just want to introduce Daniel, that is here with us. It's the first time that he comes, so welcome, welcome. I know you were running to join us here, so but we keep going we keep going now. Just when we read Daniel, and if you have something that you would like to comment, just open your microphone and you jump in and we talk about it, okay, to integrate it. But welcome.
Awesome. Yes, I saw you come in. Well, good morning, Danielle, and Daniel, and welcome to the panel. It's a pleasure to have you with us. All right, we're on page 148 now, folks, so I'll continue reading, Monica, and quit soapboxing. Others' physical evidence needn't be my experience. Abraham states, as you see physical evidence around you, very often that physical evidence seems more real to you than a thought. You say things to us such as, Abraham, this is really real. This isn't just a thought, as if what is really real and a thought are two separate things. But we want you to remember that the universe does not distinguish between your thoughts of current reality and thoughts of imagined reality. The universe and the law of attraction are simply responding to your thought, real or imagined, current or remembered. Whatever evidence you see around you is nothing more than the manifestational indicator of someone's thought. And there is no reason for what others are creating with their thoughts to cause you to feel frightened or vulnerable. There is no such thing as an unchangeable condition. There is not a physical situation, no matter what the state of negative degeneration, that cannot receive wellness. But it requires an understanding of the law of attraction, the guidance represented by emotion, and a willingness to deliberately focus upon things that make you feel good. If you could understand that your body is responding to what you are thinking, and if you could hold your thoughts where you want them to be, all of you would be well. How can I influence all toward maintaining health? Jerry asks. So what would be the best thing we could do to either maintain or regain perfect health, or to influence others around us towards their perfect health? Abraham responds, actually, the process of regaining health and maintaining health are one and the same. Focus upon more things that feel good. Where have we heard this before? The biggest difference between regaining and maintaining is that it is easier to think good feeling thoughts when you feel good than when you feel bad. So maintaining health is much easier to do than regaining health. The best way to influence others to good health is to live it. The best way to influence others to sickness is to get sick. We understand that for those who are now in a place where they do not want to be, it sounds very simplistic to just find a better feeling thought. But it is our absolute promise to you that if you were to be determined to improve the way you feel by deliberately choosing thoughts that feel better, you would begin to see immediate improvement in anything that is troubling you. I'll relax and sleep myself into well-being. Abraham, your natural state is one of absolute well-being. You do not have to fight anymore against illness. Just relax into your wellness. Put yourself in your bed tonight, and as you are going to sleep, feel the wonderful comfort of the bed beneath you. Notice how big it is. Notice the pillow beneath your neck. Notice the fabric upon your skin. Give your attention to things that feel good. For every moment that you can think about something that feels good, you are cutting the fuel to that illness. In every moment that you think about something that feels good, you are stopping the illness from going forward. And in every moment that you are thinking about the illness, you are adding a little more fuel to the fire, so to speak. As you are able to accomplish holding your thoughts on something that feels good for 5 seconds, then for that 5 seconds you will stop fueling your illness. As you accomplish it for 10 seconds, then for 10 seconds you have stopped fueling the illness. As you think about how good you feel right now, as you think about your natural state, a state of wellness, you begin fueling your wellness. You know, this, I'm going to stop again because it is important. You really have to make a conscious effort in order to really apply these principles and allow these teachings to become operant in your life on the level that you want them to be. You have to break your patterns of habitual behavior and thought. And this is what I did a year ago, last month. I realized that I was not going to make any progress until I completely changed my operating basis in life. And so I made the conscious decision to stop all business activity, to stop all attempts at creating income for myself based on this subconscious vibration that I was operating in a condition of lack of abundant income. And the miracles are well known to everybody on this call. In this last year, it took about 4 months for my phone to stop ringing, for people to really understand that I had finally retired, that I was no longer actively engaged in business developments. And, you know, in this last year, I have earned more money than I did in the last 4 years combined. I've retired more debt than I have retired in the last 10 years. And I've been happier and healthier and wealthier than I've been in the last decade. So, and it all happened from stopping my operating basis, removing the sources of stress and frustration, and then focusing on the only single action that I've continued to do for this year is being a part of this incredible mastermind. And the healing and growth that occurs just from this action alone is in no small way a part of the process that's created the results that I really do want. And I know it's happening for others on the call as well. So,
Doc Fran, I just want to jump in here to, I love that you said that, because, you know, like this mastermind is really dedicated to entrepreneurs. So when we come here and we start to hear, you know, about health, you know, and health and well-being, and yeah, but, you know, what about my business? What about money? What about, you know, like, I do want to allow, in my case, I'm committed to manifest financial freedom, that I'm learning even, you know, I'm learning what that means, you know, as a lifestyle, and I'm getting familiar with it to learn how to vibrate that, so then that can be manifested, right? And it's the sense of well-being. But what I get with Abraham Hicks is like, you know, if we don't vibrate in our well-beingness, you know, like really well-being, happy, peaceful, grateful, you know, joyful, that, by the way, we need to close with our joy thing, okay, our joy minute here. But what I'm saying is that is so powerful to surrender to the frequency of our well-being includes prosperity, includes abundance in all aspects, you know. So it's the opposite to scarcity. There is no we don't miss anything by being who we truly are. That is this well-being frequency, you know. So I wanted to say thank you for your input right now, because it doesn't mean that we don't need to do actions, but what it means is that it's more important the way that we vibrate. That's what we are learning here with Abraham, you know. It's more important the way that I vibrate than my actions itself, because I can do many actions from the not having enough, from I have to do it, from, you know, from this kind of old mentality, old consciousness, and it will not work. We can work temporary, but as soon as we relax, it's going to crash, you know. So I love that we can take it on that level of beingness, you know, and to see us as entrepreneurs doing our work, you know, because we are called to manifest prosperity and abundance in our lives and in this planet at the end, you know. So I just wanted to highlight that, how beautiful it is to work this way for entrepreneurs, you know, like, hey, you know, business is really an extension of our well-being. Let's enjoy our actions, but don't think that the action is going to overcompensate anymore, you know, the lack of high frequency, right? So thank you, Dr. Frank. I love to be part of this. Thanks.
No, you're absolutely spot on, and I wanna emphasize that, you know, I'm not advocating that everyone do what I did. You know, I did what you're doing for 36 years, and that was why it put me in a place where I can do what I did now. And so the real key is what you've said. It's the guidance system. If you're loving what you're doing, and it does take action. I mean, I do take actions, but I only take those actions that continue to keep me in a state of persistent high vibration and joy. And so if you are very excited about the company that you're doing, or the endeavor that you're doing, or the business that you are doing, and you love the actions that you're doing, and taking those actions make you feel good, common thread. Whatever makes you feel good will create that constant high vibration that literally sets up your universe, so that the only manifestations, only events that you can be aware of, observe, or literally have occur for you in your universe are all good events based on your evaluation of good. So, you know, if you're loving it, do it. That's how you make progress. And if it's producing the results that you want, then that's elevating your entire consciousness and your entire vibration level. So, you know, every one of us can't make mistakes. And this is, I mean, we're getting a little bit off the topic here, but just follow the guidance, man. It took me a long time to learn this lesson. Just feel good all the time. That is the master key to success in every level, with abundance in every aspect of your life. Mm-hmm. And when you allow yourself to do that, the rest all falls into place.
Oh, Doc Fran, I love you. Thank you. Thank you, because you make it in a way that is simple and powerful, you know, and to really get, you know, it's like in my right now, and I want to say that loud, maybe you can send me some feedback, anybody is open. I mean, I want to support each other here to really enjoy our lives maximum, okay? And for whatever reason, we all know here that 5 years ago, whatever, I had a seed inside my mind, let's say, that about financial freedom, and I start to explore, and oh my gosh, consciousness, and because I was always in spiritual awakening, you know, and now I am like, okay, you know, let's have it all in this illusion, you know, and just enjoy, you know, this amazing, you know, power of creation. I mean, we are creators here, you know, and to master that. So, but to balance what you say right now, you know, is so beautiful for me to see that I need to grow in this direction, because sometimes I engage in with my business, and it's not like I'm enjoying 100%, or I'm lost, or I don't understand, or I even don't trust, or, oh my gosh. And then suddenly, you know, okay, go for a walk, Monica, and just enjoy the leaves, you know. And now that I live in the jungle, imagine, you know, and just take a deep breath and offer everything to the divine, and let go and let God, you know. And when you write a post, or because I am in the social, I mean, I'm talking more about the social business, you know, you feel the love for what you do, and everything is switching, you know. Suddenly it's like my job, like you said right now, Dr. Ran, is to feel good. And you know, and I'm expectant, you know, it's almost like, okay, let's see what the universe has for me, you know, when I do resonate, when I vibrate high, when I vibrate like the universe itself, right? So thank you. I just want to say thank you, because it is a journey to discover that, and I love that we have a model with you, you know, so thank you for that.
You're welcome. And you hit, you know, that it's so funny that you mentioned take a walk, because that's literally a process that is used, and that I've used, to return people to present time when they're really in some kind of a psychotic break, or down spiral or crisis mode, because their perception of reality is completely dominated by their negative emotional response to it. And so we literally start a process of returning them to their physical environment by forcing them to look at objects in their environment. Look at that desk, look at that wall, look at that picture, look at that tree. And you do this until they actually, you watch their eyes until they actually follow your command, and then ultimately they will begin, then you acknowledge them following your command. So the minute that they actually look at the object that you've pointed out, you say thank you, and you point out another object. And when you do this, and sometimes I've literally done this for 30, 45 minutes continuously to, at one point, bring one of my relatives out of an acute psychotic break. And it was really a miracle when you watch it happen, but it's only because we're speaking directly to the spiritual beingness within that person, because they have gone so far off the rails at that point that they've lost contact with their own intrinsic spiritual nature. So anyway, again, there's a lot of topics we can talk about, and I'm sorry if that's a little woo-woo for people today, but you know, your emotional guidance system is the barometer. Always feel good. Whatever it takes to feel good, do it. All right, good. Do negative emotions indicate unhealthy thoughts? Abraham states, as you think thoughts of illness, the reason you feel such negative emotion about it is because that thought is so out of harmony with your greater knowing that you are not resonating with who you really are. The negative emotion that you feel in the form of concern or anger or fear about your illness is your real indicator that you have put a very strong restriction on the flow of energy between you and who you really are, your non-physical spiritual beingness. Your wellness comes forth as you allow the full flow of non-physical energy from your inner being. And so as you think, I am well, or I'm becoming well, or I am whole, it is my natural state to be well, those thoughts vibrate in a place that is in harmony with that which your inner being knows to be. And you receive the full benefit of the thought energy that comes forth from your inner being. Every thought vibrates. And so focus upon thoughts that make you feel good, which will attract others and others and others and others until your vibrational frequency will raise to the place that your inner being can fully envelop you. And then you will be in that place of well-being, and your physical apparatus will catch up very quickly. It is our absolute promise to you. You may begin to watch for dramatic physical evidence of your recovery, for it is law. And I want to inject here again, Monica, you're a physician. I'm a DMD, a dumb medical doctor, but we both were healers. And physicians are healers. And it's our intention, when you read this and you understand that when we vibrate at a level of frequency for our patient's benefit, that's why we get the physical results. And I learned this early on in my practice, that even though I was doing the mechanical things, literally God or source energy was doing the healing. We simply were unlocking the spiritual unrest in that patient who had finally decided that enough was enough, that they healed themselves. Their inner beingness healed their disease or this unrest or their disharmony or whatever you want to call it. That's the beginning of a physical manifestation of disease or illness. And so, you know, find doctors that are really intending for you to get well, that don't see your perpetual illness as a lifelong stream of income for themselves, but would far rather, you know, put you on a path of wellness and see you periodically or once a decade just to validate the continual well-being that's been created in your state of mind and state of beingness.
Mhm. And stay aware, I would like to say, Doc Fran, because I think we are in a very lucky place or blessed place. I love Jay. I will never remember when you supported me to change luck for bless, you know. So in a blessed place. But let's say, you know, like people that are sick at this very moment, they have whatever illness that we can call that we were reading, you know, in other chapters about here or whatever. I mean, to me, the idea, the real well-being frequency from my perspective, you know, shines not only through our mind, but I think mind is secondary to our heart. Okay, like to really open our hearts and to embrace yourself and embrace your moment. Like you can, I would like you to be aware if you start to beat up yourself because look right now how bad. I mean, I don't master this yet. I am here like financially talking. You know, it's the same thing. Health, physical health or financial health. You know, you can be engaging or you know from the guilty aspect of ourselves, guilty entity, let's say, you know, and to start to beat up yourself and oh my gosh, and oh my gosh, and oh my gosh, and we go downhill, you know. Or you can say, you know what, I didn't know how to do better. Just to believe, for us to believe, okay, that it's possible, that our birthright is to be healthy in all areas of our life, even financially and physically and emotionally and relationship, that is huge, just to believe it. So acknowledge yourself for being open and for being here at this moment, like this kind of river is coming to you now, you know, like, oh my gosh, oh my, and gentle, very gentle, because at the end, compassion for yourself to begin with opens your heart, you know, or resides in your heart. And that well-being is one with that. So little by little, you know, I don't know, I just want to send compassion and empowerment to the ones that, you know, can be trapped, you know, in something that could be financial or could be physical. We are walking here the path. And really the joy is to be gentle with ourselves and to support ourselves in that direction, not to beat up, okay?
Yeah, that's so important, and we've talked about, you know, be kind. How do you feel better when somebody's berating you or being kind to you? Well, why would you berate yourself? You know, treat yourself with kindness. And this, you point up something that's so it's people think that you have to go through these convoluted. And I know I think this. I mean, maybe a lot of you believe that spiritual enlightenment only comes through, you know, sitting on a mountaintop in a you know someplace in complete isolation, you know, meditating your way to higher levels of awareness. And nothing could be further from the truth. It's the simplest little things that we do. And this is a perfect example. This is my favorite coffee mug. And I love drinking coffee, and I feel good when I drink coffee out of any mug whatsoever. But when I drink coffee out of this mug, Java by the Bay, Havre de Grace, Maryland, it takes me back to when I first retired in 1998. And we lived in Havre de Grace, Maryland, and there was this little coffee shop called Java by the Bay, and I had the luxury of time and money freedom where I could simply go there every day and spend an hour or 2 hours just shooting the breeze with other people that walked in and out of that particular establishment. And so when I drink coffee out of my Java by the Bay mug, it makes me even happier than when I drink coffee out of any other mug. So that's how simple it can be to get, and you know, I'm lighting up right now. I mean, I'm getting this unerasable grin on my face because of how excited I feel about that very simple little thing. Folks, that's the key, man. God made this very simple. We make it very difficult because getting on that's how our ego tries to maintain total control over ourselves, our beingness, our manifestations, and our lives. So let's stop here today and open up. You know, we have Jay, who's a long-term panelist with us and a very brilliant guy. Always has insights that create elevated awareness in me, and I know the rest of the listeners on our call. So maybe Jay, maybe Daniel, welcome. Tell us about yourself and, you know, give us some idea of how you received this part of the call.
Welcome, Jay.
Welcome, welcome. You know, a couple of things you said, Monica, and I was talking with somebody the other day, and they were talking about a business model, and he said to me, "Wow, this just came out of nowhere. It was, like it wasn't here and it was here overnight." And I laughed, because nothing happens overnight. And whether we destroy ourselves or whether we build ourselves up, it's a matter of time, and it's little things that we do. Once again, there's a great book, The Slight Edge, and it focuses on that. It's like if you smoke a cigarette every day, that cigarette you smoke today doesn't kill you. Over 20 years, it's going to kill you. You eat the wrong things, that hamburger, you have one every once in a while. But like what you're explaining here, like you said, 5 years ago, you thought you'd be at another spot. So everything is a process, and it takes time, and it's a trip. Sometimes on that trip we have detours, sometimes we have roadblocks, sometimes we stumble. But if we understand that we're looking to get to that other side of the mountain, no matter what, we'll find a way to get there. And the other thing that you were saying is, and I think that, we all have self-talk, and I don't think that there's anybody that beats themselves up more than themselves. And I think that thought process, and sometimes it's challenging ourselves, but we need to talk to ourselves in a little different manner. I know I beat I'm my toughest critic, and why, and I need to take that of how can I do this better instead of why didn't I do that, or man, I'm such a screw up, and instead of I didn't challenge myself the right way. There was probably a better application that I could have put into this project or this system, or find, hey, I learned that, because we've been in a few different things where we've challenged ourselves and we said, hey, we were in the wrong vehicle. You're not going to drive your car across the ocean. You're in the wrong vehicle. You need to be in a boat. So sometimes you're just literally in the wrong vehicle to get you from point A to point B. And sometimes it just takes a little longer for you to understand that. But if we're always going to beat ourselves up in a certain aspect because we're challenging ourselves. We're all, and I know it's sort of a bad word, competitive, but we are competitive. Even if we're just competing with ourselves sometimes. So that will to win makes you, or that will to succeed, which is a great thing to have, sometimes makes you an enemy of yourself. And if you can turn that negative killing yourselves into a positive bettering yourselves, never give up on trying to push forward, and know you're going to come to stumbling blocks and challenges, and understand it's a process and it's going to take time. But because I know, and Doc knows, and we've had, man, I kill myself, and I've said some pretty negative things to myself that I probably would never say to other people. And we need to just change that to a little more positive flow, because, like you said, we are our own biggest critics, and need to be our biggest supporters also. So back to you.
Thank you. Wow, Jay. Yes, thank you. And I want to take the word of Arne Rantzen, if he was here, that, he's teaching this weekend. So, but Arne Rantzen will say right now, yes, that's why we created the creative questions. I mean, a tool that can help us. You did a beautiful thing, Jay, when you say, how can I do this better? That's it's a question that's going to create better. But we have this tendency, to always ask, like you were saying, what is so wrong? What is happening to me? What didn't happen? Whatever, So I think that is nice. And if you want to know what creative questions is, you go to www.creativequestions.com and you read the entire page and you can know about that. But I think it's very powerful to see, for example, and I would love to support myself and all of us here this week, how to have that dialogue that you talk, Jay, in a very supportive, empowering, constructive way. So, it's like you were saying right now, how can I do this better? How can I support myself? How can I empower myself? How can I, recognize, acknowledge, admire, love, enjoy myself, And then all of this is directing us to feel good. That at the end is the motivation, the alignment with this universe, capital letters, that we are in absolute abundance and prosperity. So yes, become aware of how much, we can change the beating up ourselves and start to acknowledge and admire. And, there is just to love yourself in all the aspects, like to me, sometimes when I feel down, and I go up and down, I'm a very emotional woman, and when I am down, I always see it as an opportunity to love myself even more. He's so funny. And I think I learned that from Matt Kahn, that is a spiritual teacher that I follow through YouTube and all that stuff. You know, Matt Kahn is the name. And there is you know, 1 hour's videos or whatever about him. And in one of the videos, she was saying something, you know, like when you see someone or yourself or something doing less than what you know is the divine or whatever, you know, just repeat in your head, you know, I love you more, no less. Because everything is looking for love, because that's what we are. You know, so I love what you say, Jay, to be very gentle with us, you know, and to change that approach. You know, I am the source. The source is in me. So the first relationship that I have here is my own relationship with myself. So, and I know the universe loves his creations, her creations, whatever you want to call it here, you know. So I am that expression, and I can empower myself instead of diminishing, you know. I can see the good side of myself and to empower me, to support me, to, yes, you can do this, yes, go for it, yes, you deserve it, you know, instead of, you know, I don't know, whatever. But that's what I love, to be all here together, because all of us, we are in this journey, you know. So in this journey of joy and you know, and empowerment. So thank you so much, Jay. I just love that we are supporting each other here. You want to say something more?
Yeah, you know, one thing I always said, and maybe you've heard me say it before, and you were sort of leading to it in one sense, you know, you can like anybody or anything. I mean, you really have to like you, because you can't learn to like someone else unless, you know, you really like yourself. But a thing that I always said was, you know, there's nobody better than me. But that, I'm going to sit up because, you know, but I'm no better than anyone else. There are people that are better off than I am, okay, and there are people worse off than I am. But that, because that person is better off than I am, doesn't mean that they're a better person than I am. And that person that is worse off than I am doesn't mean that they're a worse person than I am. You know, because you were born on the other side of the tracks and you're dirt poor or born with a silver spoon in your mouth, it doesn't make you a better person. So, you know, you always have to think, hey, I'm a good person, and there's nobody better than me. And so, you know, I mean, I honestly feel that way, but I don't look at the guy and begrudge, you know, say, oh my God, he's rich, you know, oh, look at this app. He worked to be there. You know, he in that position. And that person that's down on his luck, you don't know what, you know, that guy could be a super educated college professor who lost his job for whatever reason, or, you know, and he's just, hey, that's the only thing he could find, and he's out there working his ass off just to support himself. So, you know, with that in mind, it's, you know, just another thought.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you. Yes, and welcome, Candace. We were like 1 hour delay here, but I mean, we are having a beautiful session, and it's all about well-being, like, you know.
Oh, good.
Welcome, welcome. Yes, yes.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to open a little bit because we have a new panel member here, that is Danielle. I know you live in Russia, Danielle. I don't know, you would like to say just hello, maybe you want to make a comment, I don't really know, but I know you love this topic, I can feel it from here. And if you would like to say hello, just unplug your microphone here, open your microphone, and you can say it. And if not, let's say yes, welcome, Danielle.
Yeah. I just would like to, yeah, as you mentioned, I just would like to say thank you, and especially to you, because you following this law of attraction, and I feel that you attracted me to you and to all of these people here in this session. I just arrived a little bit late, but I promise that for the next session I will be fully focused on that. It's a topic that is very, very interesting for me. But as you say, I live in Moscow, so it took quite a lot for me to reach my home from downtown. So I appreciate so much to all of you. The reading by Dr. Frank was very, very interesting. So thank you all, and we will see each other in the next session.
You're welcome, Daniel. You're welcome. And for all of us to know, Daniel, yeah, I can see you now in the video. For all of us to know, Daniel lives in Russia, but he is Argentino. So he and I, we speak in our Spanish, and I love it. So it's wonderful to have you in my life. And like you said, you know, and I agree that I attracted you, and I want also to agree or to make you think that you attracted me. And it's so beautiful because to me, I see, you know, like when we have in whatever is the frequency, sometimes, you know that I am a spiritual life coach. And I would love to have more clients, even though I'm not marketing myself at all. It's like I'm in a passive way right now, whatever. But I know that if I can support someone or someone needs my frequency for whatever reason, it's going to show up in my screen, you know, or I'm going to show up in the screen of the person just to do the teamwork. I think to me we are, you know, brothers, sisters, souls, or whatever it is that we, you know, at one period of our life we journey together, and then who knows, you know. So, but I want to say thank you for your openness, because it's so funny that to me in business, you know, that in business I can connect with people like you, Danielle, and that shows, like what Doc Fran was saying before, you know, it's almost like I'm not making the effort, or, you know, like coming from a place I need you, or, you know, like no scarcity, please, you know, that's what I'm very aware of. But to attract these beautiful people, all of us conscious and willing to be more conscious, and oh my gosh, I just love, you know, that the work is the excuse to express ourselves and to keep growing, you know. So thank you so much, Danielle, for being here. And we are just 2 minutes away, so if Candace, you would like, I don't know, I know you were not here in the entire session, but I know how wise you are. You would like to say something wonderful, and if not, I would like to prepare Doc Fran to help us with that minute of joy so we can close our conference today together. But let's see if someone would like to say something more before we close. I'm looking at the microphones. Yes, Doc Fran, welcome.
Well, thanks. What a fabulous thing. And Daniel, welcome. And I'm so envious. You speak English flawlessly. You're a Latino living in Moscow, so I assume you speak Russian as well. I know you speak Spanish. So, I mean, I'm always amazed by people who have that remarkable ability. And you know, someday we'll learn, you know, the story as to how you ended up in Russia from Argentina. But it just points up the fact that my path to joy for everyone today is to understand that none of us can ever make mistakes. That every action that we choose, every choice that we make, is really a choice that moves us continually towards the successful completion of our life mission for this lifetime. Because it's all being directed by ourselves, by our inner beingness, by our eternal spiritual beingness. And so a great deal of joy and comfort can come from the reality that no matter where you are physically in the world, no matter what you are experiencing physically in your you know, reality, or your illusion of reality at this point, you are in the perfect place for you. Your action is the perfect place for you, and has brought you to that place. And so, you know, that begins to create comfort when you remove that fear of making wrong decisions, that you made a mistake. You either make progress or you learn from your action, and both of those make progress. So you're always making progress. And I want to close with the words from Rumi from, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 years ago, where he is attributed as stating, you know, learn to live life as if it is rigged in your favor. And believe me, truer words were never spoken, basically. So, you know, life is rigged in all of our favors, and it's really exciting when you can literally allow that reality to be your applied internal subconscious operating basis. So thanks to everybody that's here today. We'll see you all next Saturday and continue on with this marvelous journey of
Delicious, delicious, Doc Fran. Thank you so much. And here we have a week in front of us. We will get together next Saturday. That's going to be the 12th, already middle of December, close to Christmas here. But we stopped today on page 151, just for you to know. if you want to read, the next section, we will start with to what degree can I control my body? And then we will keep growing on this direction. But I want to thank you, everyone, for this magnificent time together, knowing that you are not alone in your journey to fulfillment here, and we are here to support each other. And remember, you can write Arne, A-R-N-E, at unlimitednetwork.com if you want to be part of the panel. And if not, you know that this is recorded under unlimitednetwork.com/mastermind, one word. And you have this right there the entire week. And then under Unlimited Network, you can also find the archive. And we have all the videos from all the Saturdays right there on our page. So enjoy your time. Just feel the passion for your own awakening, I will say. And have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you, everyone. See you next Saturday.
Bye, everyone.